How's it going, guys? My name is Lim, and today we are taking a look at Eisenhorn Xenos, a game set in the Warhammer universe, based around the titular character Eisenhorn, and it's due to be released in August of this year, so this is a pre-release build. And usually when I do these kind of videos, what I'll do is I'll talk as I play, but I decided, because there's quite a lot of stuff I want to cover here, I'll play first and then talk after. So what you're seeing here is the prologue chapter of the game. I've edited around a bit to count some of the bits where I'm just standing around trying to figure out what the hell I should be doing. But this game is developed by Pixel Hero Games, and their only game previous to this is a game on iPad. And as you'll see throughout the video, you can tell this is it's a game that's also coming out on mobile devices, and you can tell that it is very much designed to work around that. You'll see it with the combat in just a minute. It's very much it's a mobile game at heart. Some of the textures, although in the release notes they say they're going to improve a lot of the textures for PC prior to release, a lot of the textures are very sort of drab and dreary and that kind of thing. But so the game itself, the first chapter, the one we see here, is based around Eisenhorn pursuing a heretic called Murdin Iclone. So you're in this big cryogenic facility and you're just exploring, fighting a few dudes and try to hunt this guy down. So I'm not massively familiar with Warhammer lore, so I'll be the first to admit that. But the general gist is it's based on a series of books. It was by Dan Abnett. It's an Eisenhorn trilogy. So, and as you can hear there, the voice acting is really rather good. If any of you have played Warhammer 40k Space Marine, you may recognise his voice is Mark Strong. He's the guy who voiced Captain Titus. So they've paid out to have one of the voice actors from a previous game in the history of the series. And as you see here, we're now going to jump into combat. And this is where it really feels like a mobile game. It's by far its weaknesses. The game's got issues, like, as you'll see, but as I said, it is a preview build, but it's very much designed around a touchpad kind of style. It's almost rhythm based, because as you see on the screen with like the red little star symbols, the idea is if you tap it as you see, I'm starting to get the hang of it once I'm learning the mechanics. But if you tap as the button as the symbol goes yellow, you lose less stamina and can continue to chain a combo together. So it's based around kind of like a rhythmic motion of just tap, tap, tap. And there's once you've got your timing down, there's kind of not much to it in that respect. Later on, you'll see we get a ranged weapon, and you get these like psychic abilities. And it can add a little bit of variety, but the issue is that there's only kind of a stock small handful of animations in the attacks themselves, so it gets quite repetitive quite quickly. And as one of the sort of core components of the gameplay, it lacks the depth that I would like to have seen. But to me, I think one of the, not to just bash on the game in a negative way the whole time, I think one of the main things I did like is the storytelling itself, and it's very much ripped from the books, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, like the trilogy of books are very well regarded in the lore of Warhammer, so it's nice to see them sticking to a storyline that works, I guess you'd say. So as you see here, it's more examples of the sort of touch mechanics of just tap to open door, tap to jump like over gaps and that kind of thing. Is quite basic in that respect.
All my life, I have had a reputation for being cold.
So the game is it's a lot of these games, when they come out, they'll say, oh, we have full controller support, and it actually does, it's a bit wonky because it's designed for another platform, but this, very much in its credit, works fantastically with the controller. It works perfectly fluidly. I never had any issues with movement, with getting the camera to work, you know, it registering my button presses in combat, all of that kind of thing is all completely perfectly serviceable. It's a single player campaign, and according to the press notes that I received, even though in the pre-release build that I got we only got the first 3 chapters, there's going to be 14 in total, and it's going to be they're claiming around 13 hours long, although if they don't add more variety in gameplay elements later on, like before release, and it's at time of recording, it's due out in about a month's time, thereabouts. So if they don't add more mechanics, I can't see it holding people's interest that long, unless you're one of the kind of people who are massively into Warhammer and you need to play every single game that ever comes out that's Warhammer related. And I mean, if that's you, then I advise picking up Total War Warhammer, which comes out this week, and I've played that too, and it's fucking awesome. Just saying. So yeah, it's supposed to be about 11 hours long, and with quite a few chapters. Each chapter is set in an enclosed area. This one's, and I'm getting the impression that because you're kind of like because you're an Inquisitor, I guess you go after different targets each mission. Here we go, another example of the whole touchscreen things. Just mash A as quick as possible to open door. As you may notice by let's talk about the graphics a little bit, shall we? When I first entered areas, I was actually quite impressed by the aesthetic. Like, not so much the textures in themselves, but like the overall aesthetic and design of the areas I actually quite like. But as you'll see in a minute, like you go through like this kind of like these sections which are kind of supposed to be a bit like graveyards, I guess, and there's a lot of copying and pasting going on.
Step out and make it quick. He was good. I'll give him that.
Just allowing you to hear a little bit more of that. A really rather good voice act, and I think the way the story's told post, you know, after the fact, I really rather like.
But I have similar skills, and I have honed them.
He says that, and then you just tap one button over and over and over again. So this bit here is where you get introduced to your psychic abilities. I didn't show it too well there, the camera went a bit wonky. You just tap B and you send your enemies flying. If you're surrounded by a large group of enemies, this can help crowd control, but I didn't find any situations really where I was struggling with dealing with people. My health never really dropped down at all, and it was really just overall really rather easy. But as you can see, the animations are a bit limited, and that's one of the finishing moves right there. As I say, it's due out in August. It's not too long, but this was just a little bit of pre-release footage to give you a sort of feel for the game and the kind of game it is. I would recommend, if you're going to get it, to wait for mobile devices, because that's where it's really designed to be played, I think. My name is Lim. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any thoughts on the gameplay or any perspectives as someone who maybe knows a bit more about Warhammer than me, let me know in the comments. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to subscribe for more. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys soon.